is a hard one for brand new people. I truly do. Um, Being visible on social media, right? Standing out in a sea of creators. Thank you, April. Um, why you feel that people are scrolling past your content, right? Drop me a one in the chat if that is how you have felt. I'm just trying to twist these because otherwise they bang around and they really bother me. Right? And so many people online, you see them getting the likes, the comments, all this good stuff, and you're out here being like, why am I just being nobody's seeing me? Right? I want you guys to picture this for a second. I really do. Okay, imagine you guys walk into a mall, okay? And before you even get 10 feet in the door, you go through the front door, and then somebody jumps in your face, right? Holding up a product to you. Buy my product. And then another person runs over from the left. And they're like, hey, have you ever thought about doing this? And then another person comes over. Here, do you want to buy my poster? And then another, look at this. Look how much money I've made. Okay? They're coming at you. Left, right, center. You don't even know. It looks like they're coming out of the roof. Right? It's kind of it's a little much, right? I mean, at some point, maybe by person 2 or 3, you probably wouldn't really feel inspired, right? You're probably going to start feeling exhausted. Maybe you start avoiding eye contact. You'd walk a little bit faster, or maybe you just leave the mall entirely, right? It's kind of like, I don't know if you guys have ever gone into Mexico before. Like they say to not talk to those people when you first go in because they just, all those people with timeshares, right? They all start talking to you basically at once and it's like a flock, right? And then um zombie marketing apocalypse. That's right, right? This is exactly what social media feels like for most people right now. Everybody's talking. Very few people are actually connecting. And I think one of the biggest mistakes beginners make is believing that if people are scrolling past their content, I saw your ones coming in, it means that they're bad at social media. So what happens? They panic, post more maybe, begin to over edit, maybe make 10 overdone AI graphics, and then they stare at their views like it's the stock market on a Monday morning. And they're still left there wondering, why is nobody connecting with me? But I want you guys to hear me when I say this. People are not scrolling past you because you're not good at this. That's not the case. Most people scroll because content feels like they're being talked at instead of being instead of speaking directly to somebody, talking at everybody instead of speaking directly to somebody. And there's a huge difference because the internet does not reward the loudest person anymore. I mean, let's be real. I would probably win that anyway. It's being the loudest. But in all honesty, it rewards the person who makes somebody stop and think, wait, I feel like this was meant for me. Content is about recognition, recognition of the invisible things people are carrying every single day. People are not scrolling your social past your social media, or they're not scrolling social media in general looking for another person to throw information and a product at them. It's just not a thing. They're scrolling social media looking for relief. Maybe it's relief from the stress of their everyday life, maybe relief from the pressure of their home, maybe relief from the pain or fear of tomorrow, to submerge themselves somewhere else, anywhere but their life. And this is where so many beginners do tend to misunderstand content. I mean, like, let's look at reality TV for just a second, right? Let's look at it when it exploded onto the scene. People became obsessed with it. They still are. Why? Because for 30 minutes to an hour, you could step outside of your own life and enter into somebody else's. You could watch the rich family, the crazy family, the glamorous life, the beach vacations, the drama, the freedom, the possibility. And for a moment, for a glimmerous moment, your own stress kind of gets quieter. For a moment, pressure may be lifted. Social media does work in almost the exact same way. People open these apps because they're searching for release from the weight they carry every day. Bills, schedules, just sheer exhaustion of routines, pressure, fear, the feeling that life became responsibilities stacked on responsibilities until somewhere along the line they stopped feeling alive or started feeling managed. People are not just consuming content, they are escaping standards, probably that has started suffocating them. And what is really wild is that many people have lived inside this standard for so long that they don't even question it anymore. I mean, they just think this is adulthood or that this is life. This is just how things are right now. Stress has become normal. Survival has become normal. Burnout, definitely normal. I think so many people have now become so conditioned to survival mode that they generally believe it's just like how life is supposed to feel. We have normalized stressful lives. We have normalized checking your bank account before you buy groceries. Normalize saying, I'll just have to wait for another payday. Normalize moving money around like a financial game of musical chairs, trying to pay Peter without upsetting Paul. We've normalized exhaustion, burnout, disappointment. And eventually something very dangerous happens. People stop dreaming bigger because disappointment feel safer than hope. So when they scroll social media, they're not consciously sitting there thinking, I'm searching for more freedom. I'm searching for possibility. No. Most people are just tired. But then, but then a piece of content comes down the road and it actually makes them feel seen and not sold to. Seen. And suddenly something wakes back up. Maybe a possibility, curiosity, a thought they buried a long time ago. That is why recognition matters so much in content. Because the best content does not just entertain people, it interrupts emotional autopilot, right? And it is a part I really need you to understand as a content creator or digital marketer. A lot of people don't realize they even have this problem anymore. And it's not that the problem has disappeared, it's just that they've adapted to it. Adapted to that stress, adapted to that disappointment. Human beings are incredibly good at normalizing things, even painful things. I mean, like, how many times did we grow up watching people on TV, maybe movies, celebrities, beautiful homes, travel? You love to watch it, but you immediately think that's never going to be me. And it's not even from bitterness, just from disconnection. Your brain will quietly decide for you that that life belongs to other people. And now the same thing happens online. A life when somebody does not panic before they go to the grocery store. People think that could never be me. A life where somebody can book a vacation and not even blink an eye at it. That's not reality. That is why generic content falls flat so often, because beginners create content assuming people already believe change is possible. They don't. That's the disconnect. When somebody posts, who wants to make more money online? It sounds logical. It does. I understand that. But emotionally, it misses completely. Because the average person scrolling does not even associate themselves with the possibility of that becoming their reality. Does that make sense? their brain instantly separates itself from the message. That's for business people. That's for influencers. That's for lucky people. That's for people who already know what they're doing. Right? I see this Kayla girl all online. She knows what she's doing. I could never be like April talking to the camera. That's not for me. She's probably taken some course or some class to be able to do that. Maybe she has a degree. This is why recognition matters so much. People need to feel emotionally included before they feel interested. And the creators or marketers who understand this will become magnetic because they stop speaking in giant, broad internet statements and start speaking directly to the internal conversations people are already having in their own heads. Not who wants to make more money. I mean, like, who doesn't? More like, have you ever sat in your car adding the numbers in your head before walking into the grocery store with that pit of that feeling in your stomach, hoping that something doesn't come out of your account before you hit the till? Whew. Yeah. Yeah. That's me. That's me. Have you ever laid in bed at night thinking about your kids and tried to convince yourself that maybe it's better not to give them everything anyways, while secretly knowing the reason that you're saying no is because you can't? Mm, that resonates with a lot of people. Because now the person is no longer just watching content, they are recognizing themselves inside of it. Do you see the difference? And where a lot of people go wrong, instead of understanding that psychology behind recognition connection, they panic and try to out produce the problem. I'll just post more. AI will write my posts. They write it way better than I do. I just need this. I need trending audios. I need more filters. I need more production. Yeah, the content can start looking more polished, but it'll be extremely empty. And a lot of the times, you can feel it when you scroll. And a lot of posts that are out there. And like, I was been just doing a challenge with the premium chat. Right, we did a challenge yesterday where a lot of people were submitting some verbiage, their hooks, and the first 10 to 15 seconds of the verbiage of their video or their video itself. Right. A lot of the posts were very, 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 very similar, very identical. It was almost like yesterday was the same posts in different fonts. But today I gave the premium chat a challenge to write out a post without chat and to use pen to paper just to write it out. The difference that these posts had was extraordinary. It truly was. Um, and it's not like the posts were bad yesterday, but they were missing the connection piece because everybody was trying to be so perfect. But people are not connecting to perfection. That's the last thing that they want to connect with. They're connecting to recognition. And in all reality, if you're sitting out there being the Britney influencer with a green drink in her hand and 2.5 million followers, do you think people are going to connect with that? Nope, that's not me, right? You want them to connect to recognition. So eventually, what happens to the brand new person when they start to overproduce and post more and do more of this and do more of that? Burnout. When people are working so hard to try to force connection through strategy alone while completely missing the human part of content, they will start telling themselves that social media just doesn't work for them. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Or maybe blaming the program or place itself when in reality, most of the time, there was one thing missing: emotion. not trauma dumping. Okay, that is a totally different thing. There's a difference between trauma dumping or telling the entire internet why your husband pissed you off last night versus providing a solution to a problem. There's a big difference, right? I'm not talking about standing on the internet and crying every day. I'm just talking about real human recognition. The ability to make somebody feel that they say to themselves, that person understands something I've never been able to explain out loud. That's the difference between content that people watch and the content that people feel. And the content that people can feel is the content that they remember. So now the question becomes, okay, Jamie, I get you. I got what you're throwing down. I need recognition. I need emotion. I need connection. So what? And people are looking for a connection. So what do I actually post? And honestly, most content that builds trust falls into 3 categories, not 50. It's not some complicated strategy in any shape or form. 3. This is me. This helped me. Come with me. This is me. Human connection. This helped me. Value connection. Come with me. Journey connection. Let's start with number 1. This is me. Human connection. This is the type of content that answers one silent question. Who are you really? Because before people trust your advice, they will trust your humanity first. This is the content where people will recognize themselves in you. Not perfect, not some fake you. The raw, uncut, tripping on their words, the ums, the ahs, the real human you. In these type of posts, you're going to be talking about things like the moment you realized you're exhausted living from paycheck to paycheck. What that fear felt like when you started over. The time you almost talked yourself out of trying because you thought people like me don't have lives like that. The moment you sat in your car crying after saying no to your kids for the 10th time in a row. Why? Because human beings connect through emotion familiarity. I always have a hard time with that word. Right? People trust people who feel real. And it is a place where people will accidentally kill connection in their content without even realizing it. When you use too much you language, YOU language, you need to do this, or you need to stop doing this. You need to start thinking this way. You need to start believing this. You need to stop caring what people think. And after a while, even if the advice is good and you have a general, your heart is in the right place, it starts feeling like somebody is talking at you instead of talking to you. Nobody likes feeling lectured by a stranger on the internet. That is why I language is so powerful in storytelling content. Because instead of positioning yourself above people, you position yourself beside them. That is the difference between I and you language. You need to stop doubting yourself. Versus, I spent years doubting myself because I genuinely believed like people like me were not capable of building anything out of life. I language. Instead of saying, you should stop caring what people think. Did they ever pay your bills? How many times have you seen people say that on the internet? Right? Versus, I used to rewrite captions over and over again because I was absolutely terrified someone from my family and friends would judge me for trying this. Woof. That's a genuine fear of people. Instead of saying things like, you need to stop living in survival mode, try saying, I remember sitting in a parking lot staring at my bank account, trying to figure out how to stretch $20 for the next 3 days. You guys feel the difference? It's the same message. It is, right? One feels like correction, and the other one feels like conversation. And the reason this matters psychologically is because stories allow people to enter the emotion on their own instead of feeling pushed into it. Almost like they are accepting it. Real connection happens when people stop feeling spoken at and start feeling understood. Because when you use I language correctly, people stop feeling like they're being analyzed and start seeing themselves inside your story. That's the difference. When somebody hears, you need to stop living paycheck to paycheck, their walls go up. But um when somebody hears for the first time, I'll take April for an example, for the when her grandchildren, right? For the first time I was able to take my grandchildren and I was able to go buy them anything that they wanted. It was one of the best days of my life. You imagine how many people that are sitting in April's generation that would love to do that for their grandchildren, but maybe didn't show up at one of the parties because they couldn't bring something. Something completely different happens psychologically. The person on the other side thinks, I felt that. Not this person's trying to teach me. This person understand me. And that's a connection. Because people do not connect through information first. They connect through emotional familiarity, right? Shared moments, shared emotions, shared fears, shared experiences people rarely say out loud. That's why storytelling is so powerful online, not because your audience is obsessed with your life, but because your story gives people permission to recognize parts of themselves they thought that they were carrying alone. And once somebody feels emotionally understood, they'll listen differently. That trust begins to build. And your content stops feeling like noise in the algorithm and starts feeling like a conversation somebody actually needed to hear. All right. Number two, this helped me content. This is value connection content. All right. The type of content that builds trust, that we call it value-based content. You hear us talk it all the time. I'll say a post of value or whichever. This is the type of content that you're talking about. Content that gives people something useful, helpful, relieving, simplifying, encouraging, a perspective shifting enough that they actually want to come back to your page again. Because if your entire social media, and a lot of beginners do this, just do business post, business post, business post, business post, business post, people will eventually stop emotionally connecting to it. Why? Because yeah, social media is an exchange. People will just start subconsciously asking, why am I here? They just want to sell me just in a different way, right? Value-based content is you got people don't understand the power that it has. It is more important than your business post itself. It is. Your value-based content is what brings people back for more, right? And you're not constantly stuffing an opportunity or product down people's throats. And people overcomplicate it so much. They'll think, I need to sound smarter. I need to know everything. Maybe I need to be an expert over here first. I need to teach like a motivational speaker. No. The reality of it is, even if you're two steps ahead of somebody else in an area, you already have something to teach them. You've learned something. You can teach it. If something has helped you, it can probably help somebody else out too. You've heard me say this analogy before. Like if you're going to go learn to play golf, you're not going to go hire Tiger Woods. You're going to go to the local golf course and probably hire the kid that's teaching golf lessons. He ain't Tiger Woods, but he's learned something that he can teach you. That's value. And this is where a lot of people accidentally start preaching at people instead of helping them, right? People are tired. Did you know that the average person is actually promoted to 8 to 10,000 times in a single day? 8 to 10,000 times in a single day. People have real fears, real stress, real overwhelm, real emotional weight they are carrying every single day. So if you do not provide value without making people feel smaller, it's about helping people feel more capable or providing a solution to a problem. There's a difference. Instead of saying something like, you need better time management, so here's 3 steps. One thing that generally helped me stop feeling overwhelmed was realizing I did not need 8 hours free a day to be organized in my life. I actually started doing these couple things and it absolutely changed everything for me. Maybe you have like single mom tips or DIY tips or whichever. Number 3, come with me content. The journey connection. All right. And in all honesty, this might be the most underrated type of content a lot of beginners are not creating enough. Journey content. Come with me content. Not look at me. Not I have everything figured out. Not I'm an expert. More like I'm learning this too. This has helped me. Come with me while I figure this out. This is where beginners accidentally will hold themselves back a lot because they think I'm still learning, because they think I'm not successful enough, because they think I may not know enough. I'm not an expert, right? Meanwhile, the very thing that they're learning right now is probably the exact thing somebody else is desperately needs to hear. You are inside of here learning day by day. Talk about it, share it, teach it. Not from a place of pretending you're like some magical expert standing at the top of a mountain, but from the perspectives of somebody climbing the mountain and turning around and say, listen, I'm on this path and it's actually helped. That energy is magnetic. Here's a really good example. I just got off one of the trainings with one of the founders of the company talking about authenticity and honesty. It's completely changed how I look at my content. I just realized tonight that people do not need to connect to an absolute perfectly polished version of myself nearly as much as I thought. They connect to honesty. This absolutely is going to be game changer for my business. Boom, bang. That kind of post works because people will feel like they're growing with you and not being sold by you. One thing I'm learning online right now is connection matters more than trying to sound impressive. So, you know what? Guess what? I'm going to take you guys along with my journey. You're going to walk with me step by step as I learn this. Can't wait to see what happens. It's powerful. It really is. People love coming along a journey and witnessing growth in real time. They love feeling included. And psychologically, that type of content lowers intimidation massively. You stop feeling like some unreachable internet character. What did we talk about in the beginning? That's not me. I could never be that. That's for other people, right? One of the biggest thing that holds people back. But when you share your journey as you grow and what you're learning, you start feeling like a real person people can actually relate to. That's why come with me content builds such strong communities because people emotionally invest in journeys. They're rooting for you. And the beautiful part, you don't need to wait until the finish line to bring people along. You don't have to wait until you have that income claim. You don't need to make $10,000. You can have the messy middle. You can have the learning middle, the rebuilding middle, the figuring it out middle, because this is where most people scrolling are living too. You are the most relatable person on the internet. It's not your weakness. It's actually one of your biggest strengths. You are more relatable than any other person who has made money inside of LWA. Yeah, you hold more power than a lot of people inside of here. And I know that sounds backwards because beginners constantly think, why would anybody listen to me when these people are more successful? It's kind of exactly the point, isn't it? You don't need to stand up here and scream at people on a Wealth Wednesday, do you? You don't need to build some big fancy community or product or website or automation or lead magnet or anything, do you? We do. You have us in your back pocket. Why would anybody listen to you? That's kind of the whole point. Because people like myself, people who have been here in the game for a little while, people who do have large communities, results, leadership roles, most of the times we have to remind people that we're actually human. What did I say? That can never be me. I'll never be her. People look at us and think, that's never going to happen in my life. She already knows what she's doing. She's had 9 years of experience. She already has the confidence. She's already built the thing. But all of you, you are still emotionally close to the person scrolling. You still remember what confusion feels like. You still remember what fear feels like. I know what you're feeling, okay? I felt the exact same way when I got started. But you know what? When I stepped inside, I had so many people helping me and taking care of me. Everybody inside of LWA, make sure that you're in the right spot and they don't try to overwhelm you and they try to answer every single one of your questions. Perfect. That's exactly what I needed to hear. You still remember what it feels like to question this and whether it could actually work for somebody like you. That makes you powerful because people trust people when they can see themselves in you. And a beginner, a brand new person can often connect a lot faster with other beginners because there's less intimidation, less pressure, and less perceived distance. You are approachable, you're safe, you are human. So, like, documenting your journey is so powerful. Not because you need to have everything figured out, that's not the case. Because people like to grow beside you in real time, like the I language and you language. Instead of being above them, you're beside them. And also, I was actually talking to Jessamine the other day about this. So many people underestimate how much power they actually have with this because they only think that success and income claims is the way to create a connection. And it's actually the complete opposite. Sometimes the most magnetic person online is not the most successful person. It's the most relatable one. The person say that I'm figuring this out one day at a time, but you know what? I'm doing this. And I used to be terrified to post, but there's a few things that I've learned that it wasn't so scary. You know what? My whole house didn't burn down just because I put up a post. Weird. I don't have it all together, but you know what? I'm in an incredible place that's teaching me every step of the way. That resonates. Average person is not looking for somebody perfect. They're looking for proof that somebody like them can actually do this. Because people feel like the first thing that they need to do is describe every piece of the product, everything that they're doing, every piece of the hub, every piece of the launch strategy. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about experience. The experiences that you're having. Because then they're not just buying information anymore. They're getting into proximity, community, guidance, belonging, momentum, hope. I mean, and sometimes it blows my mind, it really does, that I think we have all normalized inside of this community what we see every single day. I mean, like, let's think about it for a second. How many of you guys have hopped on a Monday Q&A with Jeslyn? And you didn't talk about it after? That's wild. You know how people in other places would absolutely just die to be able to hop on with the founder of a company and have her answer your questions about the program, the place, the community, and everything. They would kill for a private Zoom like that. Most places, you guys, do not have that. Most places, you buy a program or product and you get dumped into a dashboard somewhere, and then basically left to figure it out on your own. Most people are not getting multiple live calls weekly, Q&As, feedback, masterclasses, work sessions, community support, people answering the questions, cheering them on, or helping them grow. Most people are just buying information without ever experiencing a connection. And that's why what so many people are overlooking what we have inside at LWA. Yes, the products are amazing. I built them myself, and so did Jezen. But the biggest power move that a lot of people have is sitting right in front of you, sitting on the screen. All these people right here. But it's the experience that most people are going to connect to. Get on your stories, do a video. Oh my gosh, you guys, I was so nervous. Like, I just had my first Monday Q&A with one of the founders of the company. But man, what an incredible experience. Like, I was asking questions and I was getting answers left, right, and center. The fact that I could actually ask questions, this is exactly why I chose this place. It was literally the moment I realized I was not going to be figuring this out on alone. I now have so much more confidence. Woo! That's an experience. That matters. So many people online right now feel so isolated trying to figure out how to do this. And so when they see somebody inside a community, a real community, learning, growing, supported, and including, it interrupts the belief that they have to do everything alone. It is so powerful, especially as a beginner. Beginners talking about real experiences will build more trust than copying and pasting any sort of description that ChatGPT could ever give you, because nobody will emotionally connect to it. Do the messy middle, do the messy learning, talk about it, talk about your growth. What are you learning? What have you experienced? Right? So let's wrap this up with, because I know what you guys are saying, because I know you guys are thinking. I know we do talk about AI quite a bit, right? And be able to use ChatGPT or Luxbot or whichever, right? But too many people are using AI and just slapping it onto their wall, right? With absolutely zero human connection attached to it. You have to remember, when you do use AI as a brand new person, you have your AI brand blueprints, all right? But go over it. Take what it wrote and put it into the notes of your phone. What human piece of you that you can add into, like, the read between the lines pieces? Take what chat gives you, go put it in your notes, and then go put you in it. I highly encourage for you guys to do this. Don't so heavily rely on AI to write everything for you, because I promise you the emotional connection will be out the window. The human parts that you add inside of it is going to create connection. And if you want to take it a step further, this is what I hope that you would do. Like the little challenge that I've given the premium chat this week. Yesterday, I had them give me the hook in the first 10 to 15 seconds. Today, I had them write up their post. And now today, when they handwritten their post, they can take that into AI to have it kind of maybe polish up some words here or there. But they gave chat the idea, not the other way around. Those are totally two different things. They're leading the content. They're leading the idea because they wrote it out themselves. And AI is now going to assist them in the leverage of it. That's it, right? Don't get so lost over here having AI write everything for you. You forget what is the most important part as a beginner? recognition, and connection, right? So let's recap this. All right, if you want people to stop scrolling past your content, stop asking yourself, how do I sound more impressive? And start asking yourself, how do I make people feel seen? Because the internet does not need another perfect person, expert yelling into the void. Leave that up to me. I'm just kidding. It needs more human beings willing to connect. This is me, human connection. This is where people connect to your story, the fears, your experiences, your honesty, not perfection, not performance, humanity. And remember, stop speaking at people with constant you language. Tell the story from your perspective. I felt this. I struggled with this. I learned this. Because when you tell honest stories, people will naturally seeing themselves inside of them. That's connection. Number two, this helped me. Value-based posting. Value is not becoming the most smartest person on the internet. No, 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 no. It's just sharing what's genuinely helped you. Maybe it's made your life easier, clearer, less overwhelming, or more possibility. If you've learned something, you can teach it. If something has helped you, it could also help somebody else out too. It'll bring people back in and coming for more because it's value. They've learned something, they're consuming something, right? Number three, come with me. Journey connection, the most underrated, underposted one of all with beginners. Stop waiting until you arrive to really start sharing all this. Bring people into the process. Talk about what you're learning. Talk about this Wealth Wednesday call. Talk about the breakthroughs. Talk about the community. Talk about the moments that are changing your perspective in real time. Because as a beginner, you are one of, if not the most relatable person online right now. People can still generally see themselves in you. It is powerful. So many people are just not looking for perfect. They're looking for somebody believable, human, honest. Somebody willing to say, I don't got everything figured out yet, but you know what? I got a great place that's teaching me. That's what I got. I got people that are answering my questions. I got people who are supporting me. I got people who are motivating me every single day and teaching me. You can have that too. And maybe the biggest thing I want you to take away from this entire training is people are not scrolling social media because they're just wanting to consume more opportunities, right? They're scrolling because they're tired, they're overwhelmed, and they're trying to escape what they're currently going through or whatever does feel heavy for them. And your content does have the ability to interrupt that, but it's not through perfection, it's not through production, through recognition. The moment somebody stops scrolling and thinks, oh my God, that's me. Somebody finally can put into words what I've been feeling. That is the moment trust will begin. And trust is what changes everything. Okay, guys, thank you so much.